What's good, YouTube?
For the old man.
That's right, we're back. Back. Another episode of OOTP24 Baseball. This is episode number 12. GM Kevin Oleman, the General Manager of the Miami Marlins. We have arrived at opening day 2028. We have a full list of items to get through in this episode. So let me just run down the agenda. As I said, today is opening day, Thursday, March 30th, 2028. We concluded spring training in the previous episode. Between then and now, I've taken the steps to optimize our rosters. We've made several trades that we're going to get into. So the order of events that I'm going to try to cover in this episode: one, we'll go through, cover all the trades that we made leading up to this day, to opening day. From the conclusion of spring training to opening day, we made several trades, so we'll cover those. Two, we will review opening day rosters for all of the clubs in our organization. Three, we will go take a look at our front office just to see where we are with things at the start of the season. I may make some tweaks to the pricing and all that good stuff, our ticket prices. And then from there, depending on, how much time all of that takes, my goal, if possible, now this may be a stretch, but if we can, I'm going to try to simulate all the way to the All-Star break / the draft, which occurs in July. That's a tall order. We may run out of time and may have to split this into 2 different episodes, but if we can, the preference would be to simulate all the way up to that point. And as we've been doing, as has been our go-to per usual with this series, is we like to review our player development each step of the way. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. All right, so we have several trades to go over and discuss. We'll go through these one at a time, one by one. The first trade we have here on the list, I'll just put it up on the screen now. We went ahead and traded shortstop Jeremy Pena. We retained 40% of his contract. He had a pretty big contract. That was a part of the reason we decided to let him go. He was our starting shortstop last season. He had an $11 million contract. So Jeremy Pena, along with Chase Bentley, the relief pitcher, we're giving him up as well. Our trade partner here, as you can see, is the Cleveland Guardians. So we agreed to take on 3 of their players: a starting pitcher, Jack Leftwich, a center fielder, Brady Casper, and then another starting pitcher, Oliver Santos. So it's a 2-for-3 trade. We give up 2 players, we receive 3 in return. Again, we retain 40% of Jeremy Pena's contract. So overall, we improve our financial position by a little over $6.8 million. There was no cash involved in this trade other than the money that we retained, but again, we still save in this one. All right, so that's the first trade. We actually made 5 trades total, so that's the first one. We have 4 more to review. Okay, here's trade number 2. We parted ways with left-handed relief pitcher Lucas Gilbreth. I want to say we brought him on sometime maybe at around the trade deadline last season or so. We tried to work him in. We were unable to do that. He didn't make the cut for this year's roster, and instead of waiving him, we found a trade partner with the Oakland A's. In return, we received relief pitcher Trenton Denholm, I believe is how you pronounce that, as well as $750,000 from the Oakland A's. So that's fairly simple. That's trade number 2. We got 3 more to cover. Okay, so moving on. The next trade we have here, we found a trade partner with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a 3-for-3 plus cash involved. So we're going to part ways with left fielder Ryan Stafford, starting pitcher Cam Day, and relief pitcher Quinn Kanozuski? Huh? I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce that. But essentially, these are 3 minor leaguers who were somewhat problematic. You know, as I was going through and trying to shape and structure our rosters, you know, I take a look at the team chemistry, and players that don't fit well, I look to get rid of them. So I want to say this trade was sparked by Ryan Stafford. If I remember correctly, he may have been unmotivated or something of this nature. And then the other 2 guys ended up, well, Cam Day was requested by Milwaukee. They wanted him. And then Quinn was another problem child that we had on one of our rosters, one of our minor league rosters. So we threw him on there to get rid of him. In return, we received 3 players as mentioned. First baseman Yason Perez. That's what I'm gonna roll with. We received starting pitcher Cullen McKay and shortstop Yniel Laboy. And again, these are screenshots that I'm sharing. These trades are made offline, so I can't necessarily click on and show you their profiles. Just gonna breeze through these trades. In addition to the 3 players, we also received $1.75 million. So yeah, we're back on our money grind, trying to get our money up and keep our money straight. You can see we're making money moves here. Lightweight money ball. All right, that's trade number 3. Moving on here. Trade number 4, we partnered up with the Los Angeles Angels. This is a 2-for-1 plus cash. We part ways, and again, another problem child, center fielder Jordan Taylor. We recently acquired him in a trade, but he was unmotivated, so we decided to get rid of him. Starting pitcher Ben Cleaver also got thrown into the mix here. In return, we pick up a right fielder, Francisco Ulloa. I don't know. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. And everybody who follows the series and follow my other series, that you already know, old man got a hooked on phonics issue with these damn last names. But yeah, Francisco, and some of the first names too. Francisco Ulloa, the right fielder. We receive him along with $2.75 million. So if you're counting that 1.75 plus from the previous trade we just showed, plus this 2.75, that equals a cool $4.5 million between these 2 trades. Plus, if you throw in the savings that we get from trading away that shortstop Pena, that was an additional $6.8 million. So that's about that's like $11 million right there in savings. That's pretty good. Oh, well, I mean, we saved $6.8 million by giving up Pena, and then the next 2 trades we have picked up 4.5. So not the next 2, but you know what I mean. 2 of the trades that had money involved. So yeah, so that's that. There, the final trade we made here, this 5th trade, more money involved. This was a 3-for-2 plus cash. We parted ways with second baseman Sam Ruta, 26-year-old minor league second baseman. Also, we parted ways with a 19-year-old left fielder Frank Herrera from our DSL team. He and Sergio Hinojo were both problem kids. I want to say they were both non-motivated or something like this. So that's a center fielder. So we gave up a second baseman and 2 outfielders, really young players, a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. In return from the Angels, so we partnered up with the Angels again, we received a couple minor leaguers, 24-year-old Joe Sachs, a shortstop. Some of these guys, I believe we may have moved around position-wise too, but we'll get into that later if it comes up. We also picked up a left-handed pitcher, Adler Cecil, as well as $2 million. Okay, so that's a total, if you're counting, that's $6.5 million in cash that we picked up over these 6 trades, as well as $6.8 million that we saved by trading Pena. So in total, that's like 12 million plus that we were able to maneuver in terms of our cash. All right. So those are the 5 trades that we made on our way to this opening day. So next, let's get into the opening day rosters. So I'm flipping to the pitching here. Here's our major league squad for the pitching. So here's our staff, our starting pitchers: Yuri Perez, Cal Bradish, Brent Herter, Hogan Harris, and Connor Phillips. We'll see if they can maintain that rotation. We'll see how they do. Yuri Perez is our ace. He leads it. Cal Bradish, he had a decent season last year. 31-year-old right-handed pitcher. Then we have 29-year-old Brent Herter. He had a decent season for us last year. We picked him up from the Lions.
What?
Hogan Harris, a 31-year-old left-handed pitcher. And then we round things off with Connor Phillips. Now, I don't necessarily feel like Connor Phillips is an ideal starter, so we'll keep an eye on him. You know, everything is in flux. So as the season progresses, some of these guys are going to get moved around, moved up and pushed down and that sort of thing. Take a look at our bullpen. Max Meyer, our closer, back for more. He had a really solid season last season. Okay, then we have left-handed pitcher Tim Herron as our setup guy. He's 31. Here's a new guy to the rotation, Garrett Crochet. I want to say we picked him up from San Francisco. He's a lefty. He also is designated as a setup guy and a specialist. Tim Herron also doubles as a closer, so he's like our backup closer. Then we have right-handed pitcher Bryce Miller, middle relief. His usage option is used more often, and his secondary role is long relief. And again, I allow my manager to control all this, and prior to coming to the screen, I optimized it all by having the manager update things. After Bryce, we have a right-handed pitcher, Frankie Scalzo Jr., another middle relief. His usage option is normal. He doesn't have a secondary role. After him, another right-handed pitcher, Corbin Martin, middle relief guy, normal usage, no secondary role. Then we have left-handed pitcher, Robert Gasser, long relief, normal usage, and he's also an emergency starting pitcher. So he's going to be the one that helps Corbin Phillips, I believe. And then lastly, we have left-handed pitcher Aaron Ashby. His primary role is as a specialist, but then he'll also be used as a versus left-handed. His usage will be this versus left-handed piece. He doesn't have a secondary role. So that's our major league pitching staff. Here's our major league lineup. I'll just show you our bench. Well, I can show you the lineups too. The starting catcher is going to be Will Banfield. If you recall, we picked him up from the defending champion Atlanta Braves during the winter meetings. So he made the team, and it looks like he beat out Adrian Sagasti, but Adrian is still there as backup. Jordan Groshans is our first baseman again, with Jonathan Aranda backing him up. He doesn't look too happy. So all these 3 of these guys look unhappy right here. We'll keep an eye on that. Tyler Petterini, he's gonna be our starting DH. Okay, we got Cedane Rafaela back, our second baseman. Remember, he made the All-Star team last year. Our new shortstop. This is the reason why we decided to go ahead and part ways with Pena. We got Noah Miller here. We picked him up last season during the week of the trade deadline, just before the trade deadline, from the Twins, and this looks like a pretty good pickup. He had a solid season for us last year. He played in 35 AAA games. After we picked him up from Minnesota, he played for them as well in both their AAA and major league team, and then he played 17 games on the major league level for us. Average wasn't that great, but I really love his glove. Look at that glove. Oh my goodness. He's really good at second base too, but since we have an all-star there, and you know, we had that need for shortstop to get rid of Pena, we slotted him in at short. Okay, third baseman again, Eduardo Garcia. And then we have our outfield. So if you notice, we're kind of light on infield options. I'll keep an eye on that in case someone gets injured or something. You know, again, everything is in flux. We may have to make some movements. Our outfield, it looks like Dylan Beavers beat out last year's starter, Johnny DeLuca, but we still have DeLuca on the squad, even though his salary is $4 million. He may be a trade target at or around the deadline time. We'll see how things play out, being that he lost his starting role to someone who makes less than him. Our center fielder again, our all-star Jazz Chisholm Jr. Backing him up is Gilberto Jimenez, the 27-year-old. Keep an eye on Jazz. He's now at 30 years old. And then the right field, the young guy, the 24-year-old Henry Bolt. So yeah, so that's our major league squad there. Here's our AAA team, the starters. As you can see here, I'm not gonna call any of them out, but those are our starters. This is one of the guys we just traded for. Hold on, let me make sure this is maximized. Yeah, it is, okay. Here's our AAA bullpen. We have 17 total pitchers on the AAA team. And these are they. Take a look at the AAA batters. We got some pretty good ones here. Let me make sure this thing is optimized. Yeah, it is. Looking to see if anyone stands out. Zach Levinson got dropped down to AAA. He was on our major league team last year, but it was a numbers game. You never know how the season will play out though. All right, so this is our AAA team, the batters. Our AA team, our pitching staff, 17 pitchers on the AA team. These are the starters here. Jorge Cartagena, remember him? This is our first round pick in the first draft that we had last season. Here's our AA bullpen. So some of the guys here, just showing this off for documentation purposes. Keep an eye on that closer, Hyro Wyatt. All right, and then the lineup for the AA team. These are the batters that have made the AA squad. Just looking to see if I see any draft picks, which I don't. Let me make sure the manager optimizes this roster. Quickly go through the high A team. These are our high A pitchers. The starting pitching for the high A team. Here's the bullpen for the high A team. And this is just the start of the season. Again, there's gonna be movement, promotions and demotions throughout the season. This is just where we're starting at. And their season doesn't start for a minute. Let's see. Yeah, it won't start until April 7th. All right. And then here's our batters for the high A team. Let's see, we have a couple draft picks here. Ariston VC, that's a catcher that we drafted last year. I don't know if you guys remember Colt Myers. We drafted him as the third baseman and then converted him to a first baseman. He was on the rookie team last year. He was decent. He was all right. We'll see what he can do on high A this year. Another draft pick is on this high A team, Pat Cameron, the center fielder. If you recall, I believe he played in the Arizona Fall League. He got loads of development. Yeah, he did. He not only did he have 2 years in the MiLB Prospect League, he also played in the Arizona Fall League. So plenty of development, and he'll continue to get better. All right, that's our high A team. Okay, this is our pitching squad on the A team. Surprisingly, here's our starters. Surprisingly, we don't have any, I haven't called up any of our draft picks to this squad, but that's okay. This is just where we're starting. Here's the bullpen for the A team. All right, so we'll see how these guys go. There are some older guys on this team. Typically, I try to watch the ages and try not to let those get out of hand, but this will be where we start, and we'll see how the season progresses. Our lineups, you can see the lineups down here. Let me make sure this is optimized by what the manager wants. Yeah, it is. Now here we got a draft pick, Chris Ray. That's one of the guys we drafted last season, a shortstop. And then also Cameron Davis, a center fielder. And remember, our draft picks are on a short list, which is why they're capitalized and they have this @ right there, just to show that they were a draft pick and that they're on our, or just to show which, that's actually, yes, he was a 2027 draft pick, but that's also the name of the short list that he's on. And I do this to help me quickly identify players that I brought on, or that I've drafted. Okay, here's the FCL pitching squad. They got 18 pitchers. Here's the starters. Now this one is still, it's full of our draft picks, as you can see. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draft picks here from last season. We'll keep an eye on them to see how they progress. Eric Strickland looks like he has the most potential out of all of them, but he's still only 19 years old. We got him out of high school. Same with Eric Archer. Okay, here's the bullpen for the rookie team. And then the batters. Of course, we have a number of last year's draft picks here as well. Remember, Robbie Barber is a two-way guy. We got a couple catchers that we drafted, a couple third basemen, shortstop there. There's our center fielders, so outfielders. So yeah, those are the guys we drafted. This is what the lineups are going to be. Okay, and then our 2 Dominican teams. The first one, here's their pitching staff, 17 pitchers. If you recall, Sergio Morales, we picked him up in the international free agency our first year at the beginning of last year, so at the beginning of 2027, and he's on this squad now. He's the ace on this squad, actually, Sergio Morales. So here's the starters. Here's the bullpen for the squad. Okay, and then here are the batters. We can go through this quickly at this point. Oh yeah, Sergio Morales is a two-way guy. The second Dominican team. So Jorge Morales is another one we signed. Again, similar to our draft picks, the international free agents. You see, they're on a short list called international FA signings. Sergio Cardoso is another pickup we had there. So these are the 17 pitchers on the second Dominican team. These are the starters here. And this is the bullpen for that team. So we'll see how they do once their season finally starts, which is further down the road. Here are the batters. All right, so everyone else that we acquired in the international free agency is still in the international complex. All right, so that's a quick look at all of our rosters. Now I'm navigating to team chemistry. I'm just gonna flow through that quickly, just to document where we are at the start of the season with our team chemistry. On the MiLB team, Adrian Sugasti is a leader, Noah Miller's a leader, Frankie Scalzo Jr. is a leader, Jazz Chisholm is my prankster. Okay, this is the coaching relationships. He got some good relationships, some bad ones. We'll keep an eye on things and see how they do. This is chemistry and cohesion. We're content. Here's our AAA team. Again, the way this kind of works is in player classes. These are like the good classes, the positives, and these are the negatives. So I try to eliminate as many negatives, if not all negatives, from the team. And this is what led to a lot of those trades we showed earlier. But on our AAA team, we got 3 leaders, as you can see here, and that's about it. Here's their relationship with the coaches, some good, some bad. We're content. Everything is pretty much kosher at this point of the season. Here's the AA team. Now, they don't have the best relationship with their coach. You see, he has a lot of bad relationships, but the coach is a good coach. He wins a lot of games, so I'm gonna let that rule for now. Here are the player classes. Jaden Stroman is a captain, so he'll make his way up to the MLB team soon, because, you know, they can go straight from AA to MLB, by the way, FYI. They can completely skip AAA. We got a couple leaders on the team and a prankster. No negatives, so no disruptive players, no outspoken players. Outspoken players are usually those who complain. No selfish players and no unmotivated players. The players with poor work ethic typically end up here as unmotivated. Okay, our high A team chemistry. There's their coaching relationships. Everything is content for now. They have a couple leaders on the team and the spark plug pitcher, Oliver Santos. Okay, then we have the A team. They got a leader and a spark plug. They got better relationship. This is similar to the MLB level. Okay, then our Florida Complex Rookie League team. They got 3 leaders on that team. I recognize one of them. We drafted him. Not him. But one of our draft pick, Eric Strickland, is a leader. That's good to see. Because we try to draft leaders and guys with good work ethic. Okay, the first Dominican team, we got a leader here. We got an unmotivated player there, but you know, we'll see. He may not go any further than this team. And then the second Dominican League team, we got a selfish player on the team, but we got a couple leaders to keep him in check and a spark plug player. All right, so that's the team chemistry. Back to the home screen, and it's time to get it started. We're gonna go ahead and simulate these couple games in March, come back, take a look at the development, and go from there. Okay, we're back. That was quick. There were only 2 games to play in March. So we finished the first 2 games. We split them. We're in a series with Washington, a division foe. So here's the Miami Marlins after our first 2 games of the season so far. We are 1-1. Take a look at player development. And as I do, I'll just scroll through and call out anything that sticks out here. Off the top, Hyro Wyatt with 2 negatives, not so good. Same with Yuri Tatis, not so good. David Rivera on the AA team, starting pitcher, he's looking good with all pluses here. Julio Mendez looking good, all pluses. Josh Newth, I don't know how to pronounce that. Newth, all pluses, looking good. Ronald Hernandez, all pluses, looking good. I love the all pluses.
That boy is good.
So you can get a feel for who is progressing. Look at Colt Myers. Remember, he's a converted third baseman from third to first. See, they're still rating him as a third baseman here. I'm not concerned about that. Oh, that's not good. Pat Cameron, all negative. Let's see, his potential contact rating dropped from 55 to 50, potential I rating dropped from 50 to 45, and his potential rating dropped from 3.5 to 3. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so this is the development report for April 1st pertaining to the month of March. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and simulate through the month of April. We'll come back, wash, rinse, repeat. We'll see where we stand at that point and review our development update at that point. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. We made a couple days into April. Quick update, we're 2-2, so we're still at 500, but one thing I totally forgot to do is go to our front office to adjust our ticket prices before the start of the season. So I want to stop and do that now. Okay, so here is where we are with the finances. We got money in hand. They say we don't have anything for extensions, but I believe we do. And then here's our ticket price. We're at $27.52. I'm gonna see if I can get away with raising this to $27.55. Season tickets, we sold 8856. We did not reach the 9,000 mark, but we still sold 8.3% more than what we did last season. All right, so that was real quick. That's all I wanted to show for the finances. I wanted to update our prices and do that. So back to simulating April. We'll be back at the conclusion. All right, guys, we are back. We are at the new month. We just concluded April. We're at May 1st on Monday. Not looking good. Dead last. 7 games out of first place. 11-18. 7 games below 500. We are struggling mightily. Take a quick look at the team schedule before we get into the development. As you can see, at the end of the month, we got swept by the Padres. Then we didn't get swept by the Padres. We won the first game, then lost 3 to the Padres. Then got swept by the Braves. Then we almost got swept by the freaking Mets, but that's too many losses in a row. That right there is a killer. We had an 8-game losing streak, so that's not gonna cut it. We got a lot of guys who are struggling to start the season. If we flip to this homepage, I'm not sure that I completely agree with our managers' lineups. You see our center fielder, Jazz Chisholm, is struggling. Noah Miller you could say he still is struggling, but he was below the Mendoza for a good portion. But Chisholm and Beavers are both below Mendoza line, not good. Yuri Perez, our ace pitcher, he's struggling big time. ERA is up to 6.83, so that's horrific, actually. Cal Bradish, the number 2 guy, is struggling. Connor Phillips is struggling. So it's gonna be a long season, y'all. I'll tell you that now. Here's our development for the month of April. Scroll through to see if anything stands out. Jazz Chisholm with the 2 negatives. He might be a trade target because he's making too much money to be struggling. And we were relying on him heavily coming into the season. I like to see this from Adler Cecil. This is one of the guys we just picked up in the offseason, just before the start of the season. He was one of the players that I highlighted in the trades at the top of this episode. Okay, we got a couple international complex guys showing up here. All right, so that's the May 1st development update pertaining to April. Okay, we're back. We're at June 1st, still in last place. Now 11.5 games out of first, so that gap is just widening. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a throwaway season, but hey, we're gonna fight until the end. Currently at 23-34 on the season. We are 11 games below 500. Take a look at the month of May. We didn't suffer any more 8-game losing streaks, so that's a plus. Another plus is we had a 5-game win streak right here in the 3rd week of the month. However, we're currently on a 4-game losing streak heading into June, so that's no good. Quick look at the development update, dated June 1st, reflecting the month of May. Let's take a look at where we are. It's nice to see Yuri Perez on the list with all pluses. Logan Tanner, one of our catchers on the AAA level. I hate to see that, double negatives. Remington Batista's looking good.
That boy is good.
I like to see Jaden Stroman on here with all pluses.
I like it a lot.
Okay, now look at Colt Meyer. Now you can see him getting rated as a first baseman. His overall rating improves from 1 to 1.5, and his potential goes up from 2 to 2.5 at first base. That's good to see. That's encouraging. Similarly, Pat Cameron has improvement shown here, so that's also good to see. Eric Strickland, this is another guy we drafted with pluses and minuses. Damn, I hate to see Sergio Morales on here with all negatives. There's Robbie Barber, the two-way player that we drafted. There's another draftee, Eric Archer. I like all those pluses from this guy, Jared Sable. And then two of our Dominican rookies, or two players from the Dominican team. All right, this is, you know what? We're here. We might as well just keep it going, y'all. This is gonna be an extended episode. I wanna try to just get to the All-Star break and get to the draft so we can draft in the next episode. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and run through June and we'll come back and see the results. Okay, here we are on July 1st, Miami Marlins. We moved up a spot. We are half a game now in front of Philly. So we are in 4th place in the East Division, 1 place above last. We're still 14 games out of 1st place and 13 games below 500. We have a 35-48 record. I'm not gonna cover the June development right now. I'm gonna cover that in the next episode. I'm just gonna show the schedule for June so you can see our results. We had a 4-game losing streak, 2 4-game losing streaks, so that's not good. And now what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and simulate to July 11th, the All-Star break, which is also the day of the draft. And then I'll come back and wrap it up. We'll review the development and everything else in the next episode. So I just want to get to the All-Star break / draft. Okay, we're back and we're getting ready to wrap this episode. We are on July 10th, a day before the All-Star game and a day before the draft. The All-Star game and the draft are on the same day. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, Miami Marlins, we're still 1 place above last place, so we are ahead of the Phillies. 15.5 games out of 1st, 13 games below 500 at 39-52. And I'm just gonna wrap now. This episode has run much longer than what I would have liked, but we did cover a lot. When we come back on the next episode, we're going to take a look at that June development report. We're gonna look at the halfway results. We're going to look at the All-Star results because the All-Star teams have been announced. We don't have time to cover that now. We'll look at the calendars for June and July. I think we already looked at June, but we'll look at where we are so far with July. And then we will try to break ground on the draft and see how far we can get with that, whether it's 5 or 10 rounds. I doubt we'll be able to cover the entire thing, but we'll see. All right, you guys. So again, a longer episode than what I would have liked, but we covered a lot and we made our way all the way to this point. So until the next time, you already know who it is.
For the old man.
Peace.